illegal to take my picture.
No, it isn't. It's a public property.
It's illegal to take my picture. Personally, it is illegal. Did you get any
isn't.
documentation I'm allowed you to take my picture?
No, but you're on public property.
No, I'm not. I'm on
you have
state
no
property.
reasonable
I'm on state property.
You have no reasonable expectation of
quiet.
privacy. Can I have my phone back?
Not yet. I got the camera.
He was on the highway portion? Yeah. They have a reckless use of the highway by a pedestrian and creating public disturbance at the very least. That's a ticket. 2 tickets. Yeah, that's a ticket with 2 charges, yeah. It's 53, 181, something like that for... I hit him with that. I give him a ticket for that. Okay. I mean, we can hit him with creating public disturbance. Right. Right. Yeah, triple truck back. We do reckless use of the highway and creating public disturbance. Yeah. All 3 are tickets. Yeah. So for all 3 charges on the ticket.
In the back, but we have multiple people talking. They didn't want to stay. So we took our own portion. I ended up with a camera on my roof. Still on. It says, leave it here. Get the back door. You're done. Let's go.
This is yours, correct?
Yeah, he grabbed it from me.
Police accidentally record themselves conspiring to fabricate criminal charges against protester. By J. Stanley, Senior Policy Analyst, ACLU Speech, Privacy, and Technology Project. September 19, 2016, 12 p.m. The ACLU of Connecticut is suing state police for fabricating retaliatory criminal charges against a protester after troopers were recorded discussing how to trump up charges against him. In what seems like an unlikely stroke of cosmic karma, the recording came about after a camera belonging to the protester, Michael Picard, was illegally seized by a trooper who didn't know that it was recording and carried it back to his patrol car, where it then captured the troopers plotting. "Let's give him something," one trooper declared. Another suggested, "We can hit him with creating a public disturbance." "Gotta cover our ass," remarked a third. ACLU affiliates around the country have done a lot of cases defending the right to record in public places, but this case, press release, complaint, is particularly striking. I spoke to ACLU of Connecticut Legal Director Dan Barrett, and he told me about how the incident came about. "Our client is a guy who is very concerned with privacy, and who protests DUI checkpoints around the capital region here in Hartford, Connecticut. He feels they're both unconstitutional and a waste of money. He has done public records investigations, for example, and recently found that for every 2 man-hours put into a checkpoint, it yields just 1 minor traffic citation, almost always for defective equipment. He was well known to the police, who also knew that he is a peaceful privacy and open carry gun rights activist." Privacy statement. This embed will serve content from youtube.com. So Michael was out on September 11, 2015 in West Hartford. He shows up, has a big sign that says "Cops ahead, remain silent." It's handwritten. This is not threatening stuff. He stood on a small triangular traffic island. He was standing there for an hour and a half without any problems. Then, the state police officers who were working the checkpoint come over to Michael, and the first thing they do is slap the camera out of his hands so it hits the ground. He thinks it's broken. It was really brazen. There's another video showing that the first thing the state trooper does is walk up and with his open hand slap the camera down to the ground. He doesn't even say anything like "put that down," or "please lower your camera." He just slaps it to the ground. Then he interacts with Michael as if nothing happened, as if, "I'm just allowed to do that, and I don't even have to tell you why I just broke your camera." It's an amazing level of hostility. The troopers search Michael, and theatrically announce that he has a gun which they knew he had, and which he was carrying legally under Connecticut's open carry law. So they take his gun, and they go run his pistol permit. As they're doing that, Michael picks the camera up off the pavement. It's a nice SLR that can also record video. He picks it up and tries to turn it on as one of the cops walks back over, and that's where the video starts. The cop announces that taking my picture is illegal. Michael debates with him a little because he's very knowledgeable about the law and the First Amendment, and the end result is that the trooper snatches the camera, walks away, and puts it on top of the cruiser, without realizing that it is working and is recording video. This is the point at which the trooper's accidental self-surveillance begins. Barrett continues. So we get the three troopers at the cruiser talking about what to do. Michael's permit comes back as valid. They say "oh crap," and one of the troopers says "we gotta punch a number on this guy," which means open an investigation in the police database. And he says "we really gotta cover our asses." And then they have a very long discussion about what to charge Michael with, none of which appear to have any basis in fact. This plays out over 8 minutes. They talk about "we could do this, we could do this, we could do this." In Connecticut, police officers have clear requirements under the law to intervene and stop or prevent constitutional violations when they see them. But at no time did any of the three officers pipe up and say, "Why don't we just give him his camera back and let him go?" In the end they decide on 2 criminal infractions: reckless use of a highway by a pedestrian, and creating a public disturbance. They have a chilling discussion on how to support the public disturbance charge, and the top-level supervisor explains to the other 2, "What we say is that multiple motorists stopped to complain about a guy waving a gun around, but none of them wanted to stop and make a statement." In other words, what sounds like a fairy tale. The tickets they gave him started a criminal prosecution in the Connecticut Superior Court. Eventually the state dismissed first one then the other count, though it took a whole year for him to disentangle himself from the criminal justice system. Meanwhile, Michael filed a complaint with the state police. They claimed they couldn't do their internal investigation without interviewing Michael. They kept calling Michael directly, and they did that even though there were criminal charges pending and Michael had a criminal defense lawyer. His lawyer kept calling them and saying, "Don't you ever call my client again, you have to talk to me." But they continued to try and get Michael to come in and be interviewed without his lawyer, claiming that they couldn't do the investigation unless Michael gave a statement. It was unbelievable. This is an interaction that was recorded from start to finish on high-quality digital video. A year later there has been zero movement on the internal affairs investigation as far as anyone knows, which just shows that police and prosecutors in Connecticut should not be in charge of policing themselves. And the culture of warrior policing. Take ACTION. As a result of the police's clear inability to police themselves, the only avenue left for Picard and the ACLU of Connecticut is a lawsuit. That lawsuit is based on 3 claims, as Barrett laid out for me. The first claim is the violation of Michael's right to record, the efforts to prevent Michael from recording what was happening. That includes the fact that they swatted his camera and attempted to break it, and took it away, and they also tried to block him from taking photos of the license plates on the police cruiser using his cell phone after his camera was taken. The second count is a Fourth Amendment claim, the seizure of Michael's camera without probable cause to believe that it contained evidence of a crime, or a warrant for its seizure. The police cannot grab people's property and confiscate it on a whim. The third is a First Amendment retaliation claim. Whether it was because he was carrying a sign criticizing the police, because he was recording the police, because they just didn't like him, or all of the above, it really appears from the evidence that they completely manufactured criminal charges against Michael. If Michael had been just jotting down license plate numbers with a pen and pad and the troopers had taken it, or slapped the pen out of his hand saying you're not allowed to write down our license plate numbers, everyone would recognize how ridiculous the situation was. And if the defendants had been any other kind of state or local employee, if they had been a road crew, and Michael had wanted to film them paving, and they had forced him to stop recording, their actions wouldn't get any serious consideration by a court. Nothing about the defendants here being police makes their actions any more defensible. All Michael was doing was recording state employees doing their jobs on a public street. The really interesting thing about this case is not just that the state troopers were so openly hostile to being recorded, or to anyone seeing what they were up to, but also that they appear to have had a very frank discussion inside the cruiser about how to punish somebody who was protesting them. It's surprising that we are still regularly hearing about incidents in which police are not respecting the constitutional right to record in public. But to hear police officers casually discussing the fabrication of criminal charges to retaliate against a protester is even more shocking. As Barrett put it to me, it's one of those things that on your darker days you may think happens all the time, but you never really thought there'd be a video recording of.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt-free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.